how do you spend your time, and what do you do outside of music when you want to unwind and when you want to have your creative juices flowing again? Is there a specific activity that recharges you or anything like that?
Just very like normal stuff. Like
Mhm.
I'm into sports, following sports, and even
Mhm.
playing a little bit of basketball and periodically, and not necessarily lately for me, but following basketball and baseball in
Mhm.
particular are kind of the two sports that I follow, or watching movies, or just watching something where my brain can just kind of shut down and
Yeah.
relax. So it's not often music related. Once I've spent the day with music, it's kind of like something just
Mhm.
to get away from it.
Which NBA team are you supporting?
The Bulls, because
The
I grew
Bulls?
up in the Chicago area, so yeah, I grew up a Chicago Bulls fan. You kind of had to in that era.
Yeah.
That was.
Are
we
you
had
ex
my we had Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and
the big
Horace
three?
Grant and Dennis Rodman, etc. So some great players.
I want to ask you, what's your opinion on the GOAT debate then? I think it's clear. uh,
Well, I mean, I'm not necessarily a believer that it's that clear cut. I think it's kind
okay.
of a ridiculous argument.
Yeah.
Just everybody can have their favorite player and their favorite things
Mhm.
that they think are important. Um, but obviously, I'm a big Michael Jordan fan growing up in that era because I did get to witness kind of firsthand somebody coming in who was just their draft pick. There wasn't a
Wow.
lot of hype. It was just there's this new Bulls player supposed to be pretty good, and then
Mhm.
watching it all unfold was really fun. So it wasn't the same kind of hype that happens for young players these days.
Yeah.
There was some hype, but not a lot. I mean, it was just kind of like, and then word kind of spread. And that for me, he's my favorite player because of, being able to watch those accomplishments. And that was the team that I rooted for.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that doesn't, I think it's important to remember that basketball is a team sport. Like they
Mhm.
play different positions.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not supposed to be the same player. People are asked to do different things on different teams. The game changes. The game has changed immensely from when Michael Jordan was playing to nowadays. If we're citing LeBron James or whatever,
Yeah.
but everybody we're talking about is an amazing basketball player.
Mm.
So, you
Yeah.
know, I think it's important to respect the people from all the eras that did well in their eras.
Very well said. What are your expectations? Are Bulls getting out of the East this year?
I don't I know. I think it's a bad situation. They're kind of forced to run it back with the same players,
Mhm.
and Lonzo Ball is out again for the whole year.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, at some point in time, I'm sure it's the type of year where they're going to look to make some trade moves based
Mhm.
upon who they have on the team. Otherwise, pretty similar to last year, maybe making the last playoff spot or something, but
Okay.
not a championship team.
Well, finally, what's your pick to win it all this year? I'm very curious to hear that too.
What with basketball?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, well, I think that, we could probably, gosh, I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, the Nuggets are going to be really good again. I would say the Bucks, it'll
You
be
got
interesting to
Damian
see
Lillard.
how, yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see how that fits in,
Mhm.
how that goes. And then, a lot of the NBA comes down to injury. So
True, true.
it's like everything can change in the blink of an eye. If Giannis goes down for the year, well, that's the end of that. They're not doing
Yeah, true,
it.
true.
So, but Milwaukee's going to have a really great team. I could see them doing it, or the Celtics could
Mhm.
potentially do it. I'm trying to think off the top of my head too. Phoenix could maybe stand a chance. But Denver, they're a lot better, I think, than people give them credit for.
True.
It's because Jokic is not, his game isn't like beautiful to watch, but
Yeah.
the results are there.
True. And seems so many people neglected him just because he doesn't look very athletic and stuff.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
It's not as fun as it's not as beautiful to watch as some of the, more athletic players, but he's definitely an amazing player.
True, true. Well, definitely lots of interesting teams this year, so it will be very interesting.
It's more exciting than the years where we knew Golden State was going to win it,
Oh yes,
that was kind
this
of
was terrible, to be fair.
it's like, why even play the year? Just
Yeah.
go ahead and give him the trophy.
Although, I mean, Golden State seems to me that might be sneaking up again because they're quietly, having a good team, and obviously CP went there, and
I don't see how he fits in there, to be honest. I don't really see how he fits in on that team. I know he's a smart player, shoots a high field goal
mm,
percentage, but I mean, you've already got Steph and Clay at the guard
yeah,
position,
true.
so so I guess he's Steph's backup point guard. I mean,
I don't
uh,
know how he will take that, to be
he's
fair.
he's also, I mean, he's still great, but he's getting older. So,
Yeah.
injuries are always a part of that. Injuries are, I'd be concerned about Steph eventually here too, the
Mm.
ankles and everything. He's getting older. And so I'd be surprised if Golden State won it. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, to be fair, the West seems quite weak these days because I still don't know what's happening with Kawhi and Paul George. I don't know like if
Yeah.
Kawhi is playing this year. Lakers obviously a big, very questionable situation again. So I guess Denver is the team to beat over there, but
Denver is they deserve more respect than they're getting. I mean, they won
true,
it and they won it finally. I think having Jamal Murray back was the missing piece. They needed him back in there. And they have great chemistry. They play well
true,
together as a team. So I think they deserve more credit than they're getting. I mean, they're the champions. So
true.
that's the way it goes sometimes when you win your first one. Sometimes people think you're lucky, but if they come back and win it again this year,
Again,
that's when people
yeah,
start to respect them and go, oh, wait a minute, that wasn't
yeah.
a fluke.
Yeah, but they're such a good, as you said, team. Probably this is what helped them so much because they were one of the few teams that actually were playing team basketball rather
Yeah.
than just having a nicer ball in the clutch in the playoffs all the time.
Yeah, but better chemistry. A lot of the teams, they've got the great players, but it's how they gel, and that's it'll be interesting to see with Milwaukee how Damian Lillard gels in there with Giannis. And I mean, it might be Giannis is the type of player that doesn't need the ball to
Yeah.
have a huge impact on the game. He's such a athletic player and
Mhm.
huge. I mean, just
It
it's
it
it's
it
pretty incredible.
Yeah, it makes sense to work because Giannis was never like the closer type of guy, I feel like. And Damian seems to be. And I guess with the combination with Chris Middleton and all that, it would be
Yeah.
it's an exciting combo, I
It's
guess.
it seems like it could work on,
On paper, yeah.
for on paper it seems like
Uh,
it could work, but you never know until you see it. And
yeah.
so it'll be interesting to see how they do.
Then again, the Nets had to work again, but obviously this didn't happen.
The
So
Nets just never got those guys on the floor at the same time, and there was just a lot of, I think, again, the chemistry issues there,
yeah.
just in terms of how they were going to handle it. They probably would have won one if it wasn't for injuries. That team was clearly the best team for a period in
Probably,
time
yeah.
with those three guys, but they just, they weren't able to all get healthy. I suppose Philadelphia's got a chance too. I don't know. I question the ability for Embiid and Harden to stay
Mm,
healthy and stuff,
yeah.
though. Yeah.
Harden again seems very out of shape. And I mean, last year was a big decline, I guess, but it
Yeah,
seems
I
like
mean he's still a great player in his own weird way. He's definitely a one of a kind, unique player.
mhm.
So, I mean, it's a possibility. The Philadelphia could be in there for sure.
Still definitely better than Ben Simmons, I guess. So
Yeah, it's a shame. That's a shame, actually.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I won't hold you much longer. I can talk about NBA all day long, so I will just stop here. But yeah, thank you so much again for taking the time. It was massive pleasure. Very much appreciate, accepting the invitation. So yeah, thank you so much, and I strongly hope I'll see you on the road sometime soon.
Okay, buddy. Thank you
Okay.
so much, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice
Okay.
day. See ya.
You too. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.